Everybody thinks that the key to winning with AI is to master the AI automations using the tools like Made.com and Na8n and APIs, and they tell you that if you master these tools, you'll be set for life. But that's the worst thing you can do if you want to win in 2026. In fact, if you're spending months trying to master and perfect the complex AI automations, you're wasting the most valuable window of this entire AI wave. Because the truth is, AI is already learning how to build these automations itself.
More agentic capabilities.
An AI agent.
Agents.
Agentic workflows.
Agents.
Agent.
Agentic.
So if the tool can do that, where does that leave you? So stick with me because I will break this down and I will show you the real skills that will pay you in 2026, 2027, and beyond. My name is Lana Soa, and in the last 5 years, I've been learning and practicing marketing, sales, and scaling businesses. At the end of 2024, I started my AI agency, installing AI systems into the businesses, and I was able to grow the business to $25,000 a month. But as of right now, I am actually changing approach to growing the business because if I don't, my agency will die. So I'm going to show you why this is the case, what I'm going to do, and how you can follow my suit. And before I lay it out here, there's one knowledge base that you need to know for this video to make sense to you. So the reality is this: businesses has never been about who can click the most button or who can master the most technical skills or who can create the most AI automation. Business has always been about solving problems. So think about it. McDonald's solves the real problem of I am hungry, I don't have a whole lot of money, and I don't have a whole lot of time, and I also don't want to cook, and I'm hella tired, so let me go through the drive-thru and get lots of food. Apple solved the problem of I want to have a mini computer in my pocket, I want to have access to pretty much everything, the internet, the songs, and stuff like that. Now I have a solution to the problem. Even those grippy socks for Pilates, they solve a problem of sleeping on a mat if you're wearing regular socks. As I said, the key to any successful business is solving problems. This applies to any business, but specifically to the service-based business and when we are selling to businesses, which is exactly what we do when we are launching and growing AI agency. Knowing all of this leads me to the biggest misconception that holds a lot of people back, which is I cannot start until I perfect every single automation or AI tool there is. And I know this because I've helped over 200 people start their AI agencies, and this is their number one concern. And while knowing how to create AI automations and how to use those AI tools was a pretty valuable skill in 2024 and 2025, it's going to become a commodity in 2026 onward. And this means that yes, you will be able to make some money while selling AI automations. You will always be competing on a price, which is the last thing you want to do. This is exactly what happened for the SMMA agencies. If you know, you know. The thing is, AI moving really fast. And the creation and delivery, the automation, which is the thing that most people are scared of the most, it's going to be handled by AI itself, which is both good and a bad thing. And I will explain why in just a sec. But right now, we are already watching AI building workflows with minimal human input. That's only accelerating. And the improvement of AI is not stopping. It is growing and expanding and becoming better by a second. So the longer you wait until you become perfect with the tools, the more time you spend on learning these tools and automation, the further behind you will be in 2026. Because soon enough, the skill of creating AI automations will become obsolete. So if it's not these skills that are going to make you what I call fuck you money, what skills then you need to develop? To help me illustrate those, I'm going to ask Steve Jobs and Apple to help me out. I don't know if you know this, but Steve Jobs did not create a single line of code for Apple. His co-founder, Wozniak, did. Now, did Jobs understand some technical concepts? Probably. His strength was business, marketing, and the most important things of them all, which is understanding the problems that his consumers had, so he can then solve them. And so Jobs, with his vision, instead of learning how to code and design and manufacturing, stuff like that, he actually assembled the team, suppliers, and then also the system. And when you look around, this is exactly what unites all of the successful businesses. Look at Dell, look at McDonald's, look at Whole Foods. Some founders did, everything at the very beginning, every task, but a vast majority actually started assembling their businesses from the get-go. And this is how I personally think about scaling AI agency in 2026, especially now that AI ultimately can create and deliver automations, ultimately doing 90% of the work for you. All you have to do is know how to identify the problem that the business has, sell them the outcome, and then assemble the resources to deliver. Okay, so knowing this, which actual skills do you need to master? When we look from a business perspective, there are 4 timeless skills, business skills that you need to have. So the first one is a lead gen, AKM, which is finding businesses and people with problems that need solving. Then we have the sales. Then it's a delivery, which in our time and day and age could be used or outsourced using the AI and VA. And then retention, which is basically keeping the client. And here's the thing. I've spent over 5 years helping businesses fix all of these problems. Think about marketing funnels and sales processes and delivery bottlenecks and retention. And it's the same across all of the niche. And the cool thing about this current AI way, mastering this business skill kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Because not only these business skills help you grow your business, but it also help you understand, identify, and then deliver your clients the best results possible. And here's the gear. Tools change every single year, but these skills haven't changed in the last 100 years, and they probably will not change in the next 100 years either. Okay, but where does the AI fit in here? So here's how I personally think about this whole thing. In order for you to charge premium prices as an AI agency, you've got to solve problems. Hopefully we understand that, but it's how you do that is what matters. So let me explain. So when AI just became the talk of the town, most people were selling AI tools, and I call it the tools phase. When that gets saturated, when selling a tool or installing a tool become a commodity where people were basically looking for the cheapest option possible, and then ultimately a business owner could just pay $10 a month to do exactly the same thing, the market switched into selling AI automations or even AI agents. And this is the phase that we are in right now. And just like with the AI phase, the AI automations phase, these AI automations and agents are now becoming a commodity, which basically means that you're working harder for half the money. You have to hustle more, you have to send more outreach, and the people are not willing to pay bigger prices like they used to, like even a year ago. This is what 99% of the people do. But there is a very small percentage of AI agents that are playing the game on a whole different level. And this is where our agency is at. We sell outcomes, and we use systems to deliver those outcomes. In other words, we do not sell, let me install this AI tool to help you save up on a customer support. What we say is we've developed a system that eliminated the need for 90% of the customer support. It qualifies leads on autopilot. It follows up within the first 60 seconds of the phone request, books qualified leads into your calendar while you sleep, so you can wake up to a full schedule of people waiting for you to take their money. That's how agency make $25,000 a month and beyond. And that is going to be the only way to win in 2026, mark my word. In order for you to be able to do this in 2026, you will need 2 skills. First, you will need to know how to effectively communicate with the AI. And to do that, you will first need and understand where the business is at right now, where do they want to go, and what stops them. The what stops them part is where you identify the problem. And that comes from actually asking the right question. By the way, you can use AI to help you identify asking the right question. Once you know that, you can communicate that to AI in a structured way so it can help you identify the problems very quickly. Now, most people do not use AI in the right way. I wasn't using it the right way either. I used to give it a very vague prompt and expect a perfect result, and I would get pissed off at the fact that it wasn't giving me the right result. The way I think about it right now is it needs framework, because framework is basically almost like a riverbed. It helps you to sort of contain the flow so it doesn't go like everywhere basically. And there is a framework for the prompt engineering that is developed by Dr. Leah Lowe from the New Mexico University. You can find it online, but it's called CLEAR, and it stands for C, concise, brief and to the point; L, logical, structured, coherent steps; E, explicit, which is clear output specifications, which is very important; A, adaptive, flexible and revisable; R stands for reflective, and O for result. So let me give you an example. Like a bad prompt, which I used to do, would be something like, build me a lead gen system for real estate agents. Now, a good prompt will look something like this. So let's go back to the AI agent. And let's say she has an issue with the lead flow. Now, we don't really know if it's the poor quality lead or maybe there's something else. So we need to first identify exactly what she's doing right now and where she wants to go. But most people usually jump to write me Facebook ads or add some pre-qualified questions and book a call. That is the wrong way to go about it because, again, like we don't really know where she's at, where she wants to go, and what could be potentially the problem. What is she exactly doing? But inside of the CRMs, think of Go High Level or the HubSpot, you can actually automate or give point to different sort of types of leads. So for example, let's say she is helping first-time buyer, but she's also getting all sorts of people. Instead of getting on a call for her to identify that actually this is a bad lead, here's how we can help her just get on a call with the right people. We can assign the number of points. So for example, first buyers get 80 points, and then buyers that are first-time buyers, but they're also looking at the houses that are in a range of $500,000 to like $1 million, they get another 60 points. If this is a second-time buyer, or maybe they're looking for a summer house, they get 10 points. If their budget is below 500, they get 5 points. Then we combine the points, right? And then based on scores, 140 points, then they either go into book a call, maybe they go to a pre-qualifier with the setter, maybe, something else. So then based on the scores, we can tell the AI what kind of prompt to create and what kind of system to create to make sure that we only send qualified leads that actually are ready to buy. This is basically how we create a very structured and logical and outcome-driven prompt. But clear communication with AI is where most people will stop. So if you really want to make it rain with AI in 2026, there is a deeper skill that you need to basically set yourself up and ahead and as far as possible from anybody else. And that skill is systems thinking. Think of the business, right? It's basically almost like a flow, right? There's a marketing part, there's a sales, there's delivery, there's retention. So marketing, sales, delivery, retention. Marketing, sales, delivery, retention, right? The lead goes here. That's why we call it a funnel, right? The lead comes here. This is the lead gen with marketing. Then they get sold. Like there is this part, then there's a delivery, and then we're making sure that there is retention. Your job is to see the shape of that flow. AI can help you identify the problem in those particular buckets, and then you can actually fix them and help you to create systems. When you create systems to do that, and then you sell the systems that deliver desired outcome to business owners, that's how you make a lot of money. Because when you solve problems worth money, so for example, if you took a business from, let's say, $10,000 to $50,000 a month, you're always going to get paid. If you were able to take a business from $100,000 to $500,000, it doesn't matter if you take you 5 minutes to create the system and implement, or if it took you 5 hours to create that system and implement it. The matter of fact is that you help the business to go from $100,000 to $500,000 a month. That's basically going from $1.2 million a year to $6 million a year. That is a lot more money. So you will be able to also make way more money as well. That was a completely game changer for me when I understood that I need to create systems that help me to then sell the output. Please notice, I didn't say you will start making money when you master every single tool or automation there is, because the tool isn't what creates value. It's you solving the problem. That's exactly what it does. That's what a service-based business has always been rewarded. AI doesn't really change that. If anything, AI makes it much easier because the tools now handle the most, like 90% of the work for you. So let me leave you with this. Stop obsessing over perfecting the tools, learning the tools, keeping up with the automations or keeping up with the Joneses. Start focusing on learning the business skills, identifying the problem, and assembling the outcomes, because that is the real leverage in 2026 and beyond. Now, let me know if you agree or disagree. Drop your comment down below. I will be really curious to hear your take. And if you like this video, you might want to watch the next one, and also subscribe to the channel, because here I'm going to help you how to start your AI agency and grow it and scale it and beyond. And I'll see you in the next video.